Hey everyone, Snacky here. I'm here for another late night snack tech, and tonight we're going to be going over one of my CEDH builds that I decided that I was initially going to try for CEDH League, but didn't end up deciding to do so. So, the deck that I decided to build is a Dargo Jessica deck. The whole theme of the deck is built around casting out Dargo as fast as turn 1 or 2, and then casting Jessica the following turn, activating Jessica and hitting someone for 21 commander damage with Dargo and killing them off. Uh, the deck is very fun and it's built upon stacks pieces to keep your opponents off of any spells that they can cast and just try to win the game, hopefully as soon as turn 4 in best case scenarios, but you can't really win any faster just because there's not really any extra combat effects that we're looking to run in the deck. So, just for creatures, we have Anger for haste, Bergie for extra spells, Dockside, Dual Caster for our combos, Imperial Recruiter to search out our combos. We have Magus of the Moon just to keep people off of their colored mana. We have Ragavan just to get hate pieces out. We have Runaway Steamkin for good mana ramp. Same for Simian Spirit Guide. Slicer Hired Muscle, just another form of doing a boatload of damage. And Treasonous Ogre if we can only get to 4 mana. For sorceries, we have Chain Lightning, Faithless Looting for card draw, Gamble for tutoring, Heat Shimmer for a combo piece with Dualcaster. We have Infernal Plunge, which we don't run a ton of creatures, but Infernal Plunge also kind of helps with casting Dargo. We have Icencrag Feet, which will allow me to cast Dargo there. We have Jessica's Will, which synergizes really well with having our commanders out and casting spells for essentially free off the top of our library. We decided to put in Mana Geyser as well. It's not the greatest spell. Typically, you're gonna exile it, but it's good in casual gameplay for the late game if you ever do end up having to get there. We have Pass and Flames to cast anything in our graveyard that we need to, including our rituals. Rite of Flame, which just a ritual effect, same for Strike It Rich. Twin Flame combos with our commander. We have Vandal Blast for artifact destruction, our Wheel of Fortune for some draw, and the same goes for Wheel of Misfortune. Our instance will include Bolt Bend, which is a very, I would say, cheaper version of Deflecting Swat if you don't have a Deflecting Swat like I do. But Bolt Bend will allow you to pay 1 just to redirect a spell. Chaos Warp is targeted removal for anything that you can't really deal with, or it's a creature and it'll allow you to get through for that 1 punch. We have Desperate Ritual for ritual effect. We have Fork to copy any counter spells. It's our form of counter magic, mind you. We have Lightning Bolt for removal. Poetic Ritual is a ritual effect. Counterspell with Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast. We have Reverberate, which is another version of countering spells, or copying your rituals, or trying to win the game. Seething Song for a ritual effect. Tybalt's Trickery, which is a counter spell. And Valakut's Awakening, which is just another form of wheel in most cases. For our artifacts, this is where most of our stuff is, just to get our commander out as fast as possible. We have our Arcane Signet, Chromox, Curse Mirror, Defense Grid, Hammer of Nizam, which gives our commander indestructible, Helm of the Host, which will give us another one of our commanders, which isn't fantastic. You can probably optimize it with something better. Jeweled Lotus, which allows our commander to come out for 2 mana, just because tapping this and sacking this will pay for the 2 colorless on Dargo, and it'll also pay for the 3 colored, so you're only looking for 2 mana at that point. We have Mana Crypt, we have Mana Vault, Mind Stone, Mox Amber, which is usually only good if Dargo is out on the field, or if you get Ragavan in your opening hand. We have Mox Diamond, Mox Opal, Sensei's Divine Top for some good card advantage, Shadow Sphere for some lifelink and more trample effects just in case. Soul Ring, just for easy ramp. The One Ring for card draw. Thorn of Amethyst, which is one of the few taxing spells that I ran the deck. Thought Vessel. Torpor Orb, which doesn't cause creatures to enter the battlefield to trigger, which is great against Thassa's Oracle. Trinisphere, which will slow down those control decks that really are looking to win that mid game. And Voidmere, which really plays well against those decks that are looking to cast Force of Will, Force of Negation, and Fierce Guardianship. We have Blood Moon here for just painting all lands in the mountains and not allowing anyone to really cast spells. It just puts you on the throne just to go really, really fast. We have Braid of Fire, which just is an every turn ritual in your upkeep. We have Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which just is going to continue to create you card advantage. And on the back, it's a great way of copying your Dockside Extortionist or your Magus of the Moon, or even some of your stuff that's really creating good combat value, like for example your Treasonous Ogre or your Slicer. We have Price of Glory as well, which slows down your opponents. It really is going to destroy opponents' lands, which they're not going to like. They might try to kill this or counter it in every single case, which you really want to land it. We have Stranglehold, which will slow down a lot of opponents, and you want to make sure that you land this. Underworld Breach, which combos with our Wheel of Fortune. We do not have Lion's Eye Diamond on the list, which is probably what I meant to change Helm of the Host to. So let's actually change that now. And boom. So we're running Lion's Eye Diamond instead of the Helm of the Host. We're gonna run Underworld Breach just so we can continue to combo with our wheel effects. And it'll continue to gradually get us mana with Birgi if Birgi is out on the field. We have War's Toll here as well, which whenever an opponent taps the land for mana, it taps all their lands. Whenever a creature attacks, all of those have to attack. So it's generally just taxes in our enchantments, and in our lands, it's generally just stuff that is going to create extra mana, or it's going to be something that generates a red. For example, we have our Ancient Tomb, creates 2 colorless mana, but deals 2 damage to us. We have Arid Mesa, it just fetches out a mountain. Same goes for Bloodstained Mire. City of Traders, it adds 2 colorless mana, and we don't mind sacrificing it off later in the game. Gemstone Caverns just allows us to get it out early on so that we can get that first red and get a second red on our first turn. We have our Great Furnace, which is just an artifact land, which we can always sack off with Dargo to get that extra 2 colorless. We have 19 Mountains. We have Prismatic Vista as another fetch. We have Scalding Tarn, which searches for a mountain. Urza's Saga, which we'll go and grab. In most cases, our Jeweled Lotus if we do need to cast Dargo on 3. Or it can possibly even grab something good, like for example the Shadow Spear if we're going towards the late game, or Sensei's Top if we do need the card advantage. We have Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle. If this does end up going late game, it is a way of going and killing people with Valakut. And Wooded Foothills, which is another way of just fetching up a mountain. But if you made it this far in the video and you kind of like this deck, if there's anything that you think that you would add to this deck, feel free to comment down below. And if you like this type of content, please drop a like, comment, and even subscribe down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.